Hello, fancy fencers. I just wanted to make a video briefly talking about some of the most enjoyable and efficient setups I found for Fencer now that he doesn't have the javelin catapult to move around fast, which at least as far as I know, I have not come across it. I've not heard of anybody having it yet, so we'll see. But his new movement actually is very smart to the developers, in my opinion, because I think if they were going to remove the javelin catapult, I think that would upset a lot of people. So what they did was they actually made a setup that was part of the game, but is actually just as fast, if not faster, than the javelin catapult. And it also allows you at the same time to have more weapon diversity. So I'm very happy with this change. So anyway, let's get started with the items. Let's start with auxiliary items. Down here, the last two items are the auxiliary items, which allow you to do different effects or special things for your class. So this first column right here is what allows you to boost your dash and your jump. So you don't necessarily need an item to increase your dash numbers, but you definitely need an item to increase your jump numbers. I do, however, recommend at least having 2 dashes so that when you are done with your hops, like say for example, this item right here gives you the ability to hop 4 times. So once you're done hopping 4 times, you're going to have a cooldown while you're on the ground before you can hop again. So that's why I like having, for example, 2 dashes at least, so that when I'm waiting for that cooldown, I can still dash and shoot with my other hand until I have my hops back up, which I'll show more in the video here later. But anyway, so usually what I do is I'll take an item to increase my dashes and an item to increase my jumps. So an easy way to remember if you don't speak Japanese is if you can see that one with the 4 next to it. If you see that the text that's next to that 4, it shows like almost like an arrow or like a thing pointing to the right, and I just view that as that's dashing to the right or dashing forward. And then where you look at this next to the 2 is like almost like an arrow pointing up. So this particular item allows you to jump up. So that's just an easy way for me to remember what's what. But anyway, so what I usually do is, like I said, I'll take an item for now that'll increase my dashes. For this one, will give me 4 dashes, and then this one down here will give me 4 jumps. So you don't have to do that, and as you get more items that are higher level, you will notice that, for example, like this one will give you 2 dashes and 2 jumps just for one item, and then this one will give you 2 and 3, and then 3 and 2, whatever you prefer. And also the percentages down there actually will boost the distance of your jump too, which is cool. So like I said, my highest item is 45, so I haven't unlocked everything, but I'm assuming it's going to continue that trend, and you will only need 1 item to do your dash and your jumping. So that if you do have an item that increases both dash and jump, then you can also add another item to your list. For example, like this reduces your turning speed. So like if you have a heavy weapon equipped, it won't turn as slowly, which could be a nice setup as well. You can kind of combine those together. But anyway, just for the sake of this video, I'm going to take one item that gives me 4 dashes and one item that gives me 4 jumps. Let me make sure these are both equipped. Okay. Now as far as the weapons go, my go-to weapon setup has always been, at least on one hand setup, is I'll take a blast hole spear, which is right here, and unfortunately the ranges haven't been that high yet because I haven't had them fully upgraded, and I don't have the highest level ones yet, but still blast hole is very strong in this game, and I highly recommend at least taking it on one of your setups most of the time, and at least give it a try, because it penetrates through enemies, and it's a very high damage. As you can see, the first swing is 1278, the second swing is 2500, which is a lot for this level. And then, so I'll take one blast hole, and then I'll go to this column here with the Gatlings and so forth, and I will take a shotgun. And so for example, this shotgun right here is my highest level. The reason I take the blast hole and the shotgun is because the Gatling, if you dash with the Gatling while you have it equipped, it will reset your cooldowns because you have to spin this weapon up. So the reason I don't really care for the Gatling as much is because you have to spin it up, so every time you dash you reset that cooldown. Whereas the shotgun, you can instantly shoot. Whenever you need the damage, you can instantly shoot it. Now however, if you need more range, then you can also take an item right here, which is, I think this is actually a newer type item, because I don't remember something like this in 4.1. But anyway, it's a single shot machine gun that has very great damage and very great range. So I've been taking this if I need a little bit more range, and it gets pretty accurate too when you level it up. So it's one of those two, blast hole shotgun or blast hole, the single shot machine guns that have usually about 2 a second shot speed. And then for my second setup, usually it depends. That's where you will, where it depends on the situation. So like, you know, for example, if you want to do a lot of high damage in large crowds of enemies, you could always equip 2 Vulcan Hammers. As you can see, the Vulcan Hammers have damage reduction down there, the 75% on the right, the bottom right. And it's not even fully leveled. Will give you damage reduction, so you can swing 2 hammers, and that's still a good weapon setup in this game. It feels the same to me. Or you can take 2 vibro hammers, which is one of my favorites as well. It has damage reduction, but not quite as much. But it has more range, 125 meter range with this. So, for example, you could do that. 2 hammers, 2 swords is still good. Let's see what else. Sometimes I use these things right here, the blast twin spears, I think they're called, for high damage. If you want to go in and do a lot of damage to, see, it used to be you would want to go in and do high damage to a nest, but now that there's not nests, it's not quite as valuable. I mean, you could use it on frogs maybe, but I don't know. I'm not sure I would use this as much anymore as I used to. You can also do, like, say for example, if you have like a queen or a king spider or something, you could always take the jackhammer and the reflector shield, which they still have, which looks like this now, which is kind of cool looking. They still have the level 27, which is a good reflector. Or you can take a great shield with that, jackhammer and shield, so you can stay alive. Also, you could always take two heavy cannons if you really need to snipe and you're in a safe position where you can actually snipe from far away. I personally usually take a blast hole or a spine driver or something that dashes and one of these rather than just 2 of these, because I hate just being stuck in one spot unless it's very safe, and usually it's not. So you can also take, of course, 2 missiles as well if you need something that requires missiles. But pretty much that's your secondary slot, where it depends on the mission. I will show usually what I've been taking lately is one of my favorite things is, well, you can take a sword, because this thing will charge up and it'll swing for 947 meters, so this is good for long range. And then I'll take a heavy cannon on my second if I need something for sniping. So let me take one of these. The 30 pretty much is the heavy. Plus you can tell by the damage and how slow it shoots. But let me go ahead and start a level up really quickly here and show what I've been using lately and what I've been doing. So, like I said, the way I traverse is the dash and the jump. So, like I said, those 2 columns, as long as you have one from each of those columns, you can dash with this one, and then you can jump with the shotgun one. So all you do is just hold forward and then dash and then jump, and you can do it quickly, or you can do it like a pause and then do it. But it's not, you don't go quite as far. But the new way, or the new challenge now, I would say, for this setup is you have to remember where you're at on your jumps. So you always want to make sure, like say I have 4, I want to make sure I know where I'm at. If this is 1, this is 2, I want to make sure I'm counting, so that when I get to the 4th one, like right here, I know, so I can dash and shoot and then continue again. Because it's like a cooldown, you can't just keep doing it. So this is 2, 3, 4, and now I'm tapping it right now. I can't jump right now until another couple seconds. So you just want to make sure you're aware of where you're at, so you can always continue by using your dash while you're on the cooldown. Then you can continue jumping again. But the reason I like this is because, like I said, if you dash, you shoot a weapon that you hop with, you can't shoot with right away after you dash. There's a little bit of cooldown. So therefore, any weapon that shoots right away, like the shotgun, is very valuable. You don't have to spin up, the Gatling, so you can just use the shotgun. So you can kind of hop in and then just attack the target with shotgun or with blast hole, and then if you need to get away, you can continue to get away. But I like it because it's very high damage. Usually you're jumping into a group or around a group, so the shotgun can be very good damage. You don't have to be quite as accurate. And then the blast hole, of course, is great whenever you can get a good swing on it, because it's so strong. But that's the reason I've been using this setup a lot lately. It just feels very good, very strong. and I'm very happy with the damage on it. And then as far as the other setup on hand, like if I need range, what I can do is now on this I can still dash. I have 4 dashes I can use with this, but I have a heavy cannon as well for long range. So if I need to snipe something, then I'll just be able to snipe, and then you can dash to cancel the animation of the sniper shot. So I'm hitting dash and it cancels rather than having to sit through this thing. And I'm still trying to move, okay, and now I can move. So you can cancel that a little bit. So shoot and then just dash to cancel that animation. And then at the same time you have 2 long range weapons. So this sword, if you charge it up all the way, it takes a while. As you can see, it's a very slow charge. But if you really need something that's long range as well, you can use the heavy cannon, and then you also can use the secondary slash of the sword. And if you don't need us really far, you can just use the yellow slash, which is still pretty good damage. So that's if I need long range. Let me go ahead and switch back out here. I am going to oops, I don't want to do that. I am going to show really quickly the other weapon that I've found to love as well, which is this one. And then let me take 2 of these. And like I said, the jackhammer and the reflector still feels the same to me. It still feels good, so that can be good. That's one of my favorite weapons with the shield, because you can attack right away, and you can always block if you need to right at the right time. But anyway, this is one of the new machine guns he has. You can hold the trigger down, and it's very accurate and very long range and very strong. So this is another alternative I'll take if I don't want to take the shotgun, if it's a little bit too dangerous. So I'll just, you know, use this from further away, but I'll still have the good mobility. And then, of course, like I said, 2 hammers is still good. So you just charge up both hammers, and then use dash and swing, and charge it up again, and then dash the other one, swing. So you're always pretty much holding the triggers down. You're just letting go for a brief second, and then recharging it in between dashes as you rotate back and forth. And then, you know, after the one swings, the other one is ready, so you can just, you know, constantly swing. Just like the previous game, it's still very strong. And just make sure to remember when you are reloading, don't charge it up all the way, just swing it right away. That way you'll have constant damage reduction. You don't ever be outside of the reduction, because if you're near enemies with hammers, you don't want to get hit without the hammer swinging at any given time. So of course that's still good. The interesting thing that's changed is now the high altitude missiles allow you to hop as well. So you can actually take a dash weapon and then take the missiles if you want to stay mobile with the missiles, which is interesting. I'm kind of surprised. I mean, it's a kind of a cool idea. It keeps you safe. So, or you can just take 2 sets of missiles and just hop backwards as you set them off, so you're actually more in a safe position when you're fighting. Another thing I like for my secondary setup would be taking, as far as the dash weapons that I like to take, I don't like the flashing spear. It doesn't seem very good because the range is very short, and it's not, I mean, it swings fast, but it's just that range that hurts. I think the Blasto outclasses it just because of the fact that you can do high damage and you have more range at the same time, and it still both penetrates your enemies. The only reason I could see using this is if you're needing to like kill a spawn, but the thing is, there's not too many spawns anymore that are on the ground, because you could just stand there and just constantly swing. Like, I guess a dropship is dropping enemies. If you're farming something, you could always just rotate them back and forth, because it'll kill all the enemies as they fall down. But like I said, I don't use it too much. Spine Driver's still good. Looks like it has decent range this time around. This is level 4 star only, and it has 80 meters, so maybe the Spine Driver will have more range. Like I said, Jackhammer I'll take, usually with a shield though. For me personally, Blasto I almost always take because it's so strong. But those are my favorite dash weapons. You can always take, you know, of course the swords are decent and the hammers, but as far as the Gatlings, like I said, it really depends on the spin up time. They're not bad. They're high damage, but it's really situational. I wouldn't take that as my main, but it is fun to take a rocket as well. Where that's 6 shots. Okay. Oops, wrong. I'm gonna put the dash on this hand first. So like a Spine Driver and a rocket, instead of taking the NC cannon, instead of taking that sniper cannon, because that'll allow you to dash around as well with, but having rockets. I mean, it's a little more dangerous, of course, but it can be very fun. But as you can see, you can still dash and jump with this thing, so you still can stay mobile and use, you know, the spine driver or the blast or whatever to fight up close. And then if you need to fight, you know, large group of enemies, you could always just, you know, hop in the air and shoot down with the rockets, which is kind of cool. Now that you can get in the air with them, so that's pretty good setup too. But I mean, oops, I hit restart instead of retreat. But yeah, that's mainly been my setup. I do like, let me show one more thing really quickly. I do really like the jackhammer still, like I said. Let me show that really quickly with a shield. Alright, I'm going to take this level 27 reflector. The shields seem similar types as well still. They still have the reflector shield, which this thing literally has no you can't really use this to take any damage, but you can use it to reflect. So you can still, you know, dash and then reflect. But the thing is, you notice that it doesn't cancel your dash anymore. So you can't do this indefinitely like before. You could always do this before, but now you can't do it once your dash is on cooldown. Like, you had to wait a little second there. So, but the reason I like this is because you can always use your jackhammer, and then when you're in danger, you need to reflect. You can reflect at any time, or even in between your shots of the jackhammer, and that allows you to be a lot safer. Whereas if you're using like a spine driver or a blast hole, the animation of that you may get hit while you're stuck in the animation. You can't reflect. So that's why I really like the jackhammer with the reflector or with a shield in general. But of course, something with range would be nice as well sometimes with shields. But yeah, jackhammer still feels good. I'm happy about that. And that's pretty much it. As long as you know, are careful to take something with 4 jumps, or with as many jumps as you have and at least 2 dashes, I think you'll find it pretty simple to move around. It's still a little tricky to get the timing down as far as hopping through the air and just getting more precise with it, but it's very gratifying just flying through the air and hitting like landing a blast hole shot on a frog and then dashing away. So but yeah, that's pretty much what I've been enjoying lately in Fencer class. I've been really happy with just the changes, because it's just something new to learn, and I feel like it's actually a better change, like I said, because of the fact you can have more variety of weapons. Before it was just take a blast hole spear and a javelin catapult, and that was it. And that was unfortunate. It kind of got stale. So, but anyway, if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments, and I hope that made a lot of sense and can maybe help you out a little bit get started with Fencer class. So thanks for watching, and see you on the next time, hopefully.